All right, guys, we've got a new one from Tom Ford, and I can't wait to get my nose on it. It is a blind buy, but I've been anticipating this one. In fact, I spoke about it earlier last year, anticipating the launch of this fragrance. And I was told by a few folks that I asked last year that it was coming last spring. Well, like around now. So it didn't come last spring, it came a year later. Also, the name is flipped. Originally, I thought this was going to be called Orange Taormina. Now it's called Taormina Orange. So this is a new Tom Ford fragrance. It is part of the Citrus lineup of fragrances. So it's not as expensive as other fragrances, but still very pricey for a 50 ml bottle of fragrance at $300. A 30 ml costs $195, by the way. So it's a fresh citrus fragrance, and it also features citrus floral notes created by Anne Flipo. And this is the right perfumer for this, I think, because she does great work with white flowers. I think this has orange flower or orange blossom featured in it, but the rest is citruses. There's earthy notes like moss, oakmoss, and patchouli. So I'm dying to get my nose on it. If you've gotten your nose on this one so far, let me know. Add a comment below. I think this is the first citrus in a long time. Around 10 years ago, there was a whole, well, I think even longer than that, like maybe 13 years ago, there was a whole slew of citruses. In addition to the Neroli Portofino, there was the Mandarino di Amalfi, there was the several of them. I think some got discontinued and a few ended up in the signature line, and they haven't launched anything new. So I'm quite excited for this one. I really enjoy the work of Anne Flipo. She's got some great fragrances too. My favorite fragrances of hers are Synthetic Jungle, which became Synthetic Nature for Frederic Malle. And then there's also Rain de Makeda from the House of Rain de Saba. Oh man, so super sexy with that one. And I just learned that somebody I know mutually really loves that fragrance as well, which is kind of crazy. I'm not sure how they ended up with the bottle. But anyway, we've got a new fragrance created by Anne Flipo of IFF, and I'm dying to get my nose on it. But let me know if you've gotten your nose on this. Do add a comment below, and let's see what this one's all about. Do you guys like the Tom Ford citruses? Do you enjoy Neroli Portofino? Here we go. Similar color to Neroli Portofino. I think it's a similar color. I don't have a small bottle of Neroli Portofino. I think this green is a little different shade. But I do have a large decanter of the Neroli Portofino, and I never bought the Neroli Portofino Parfum. I have a large bottle of the Neroli Portofino in the Forte concentration, which they used to have 10 or so years ago. So this features notes of green mandarin, lime, cardamom, orange flower, blood oranges, patchouli, oak moss, salty skin musk. Does that sound good to you guys? Let me know. Let's go ahead and spray. Citruses are not, I love citruses, don't get me wrong, but I don't really consider them to be the ultimate in fragrances. I like my fragrances to be deeper, stronger, spicier, sexier. But there are some citruses that I really, really love. I'm smelling this. So far, so good. I like that tartness that I'm smelling, and I kind of like my citruses to be much more tart than sweet citruses. I have to be honest, I've smelled fragrances like this. It's super soapy and clean and very juicy citrusy. There are some green elements to it and some light spices. And of course, it's pretty floral. I haven't smelled a fragrance like this created by Anne Flipo. I think Synthetic Nature, formerly Synthetic Jungle, is more of a green floral green fragrance. This is much more citrusy, but I like what I'm smelling, I have to be honest. It's got a Mediterranean vibe, a Mediterranean citrus vibe. That's what's great about it. And I am from the Mediterranean and I love citruses. Again, I don't consider citruses to be the ultimate in fragrances. I like my fragrances to be stronger, deeper, richer, spicier, earthier, woodier, amberier. This is not that. But for a citrus, this smells really, really awesome. I need to put some on my skin now. The first initial blast is super sexy with the smell. Beautiful. Very juicy, quite zesty. Flowers are developing. Although I'm not picking up a very strong cardamom. Although, let me take that back. It was not as strong on the strip. I think it's a little bit stronger on my hand. It smells great. I think it's launched appropriately around the time, I think spring into summer. This is going to be utilized around that time. Now, Cardamom is developing quite stronger now all of a sudden. It's quite gorgeous. So Tom Ford had that also, I think, was it called Venetian Bergamote? I couldn't stand that fragrance. I don't know what it is about that fragrance. It had a lot of fans, but for a bergamot fragrance, it didn't really stand out to me because I like my citruses, like I said, to be on the tart side. And this does have that tartness. It's quite soapy, for sure soapy. And usually you get that with the orange flower or orange blossom notes mixed with citruses. So you have a very soapy quality here, which I like. It's a very clean feeling. And in the summertime when it's quite, hot and muggy or, really, really intensely heat forward, these kind of do have a kind of a calming quality when you're out and about in the heat and trying to cool off, because there's definitely something very cooling about this. And the whole soapiness gives you like a subconscious clean feel, when you've been sweating in the heat outside, which is, I prefer not very hot days, but I can't help it. I travel quite a bit and it does get hot here quite a bit. And these are the kind of fragrances you would pull for if you want that kind of subconscious cooling feeling, because it does that. It really does that. And also that soapiness is giving you that clean feel. In soap in general, there's usually some flowers that have that kind of a soapy effect. And this is giving me that quite a bit. There's a little bit of a classic side, I should say, also, giving me a little bit of a vintage citrus floral kind of a fragrance, reminding me a little bit of Acqua di Parma's, but not as barbershoppy or aromatic leaning. I did some research online. It did say that this is a citrus aromatic. I think it has some aromatic qualities. So it's fresh citrusy, maybe citrus floral, citrus aromatic. Those are the kind of styles that come to mind with this fragrance. But for sure, I like that muskiness that it also has. That's quite sexy as well. There's definitely a musky under all the flowers and citruses. It's a great smell. I really love the way it smells. I'm a lover of citruses, but I wouldn't say this is earth-shatteringly original. I've smelled lots of fragrances like this, and doing fragrance reviews and fragrance content, you get to smell a lot of fragrances. So is this going to be a big hit for the house? I don't think so. But is it a quality offering? I think so. I'm not sure how the performance is going to be. I'm going to pause the video and come back in an hour or so. But as far as the quality of smell, I really like Taormina Orange. As far as originality goes, it's not quite original, but quality offering from the house. As far as price goes, it's quite pricey. So maybe figure out a way to get a deal on this, or wait for it to end up at the discounters. Because I'm sure you'd probably get it for around $200 rather than $300 for the 50 ml. But I'm digging it. I'm really digging it. I love the way it smells. It's super, super clean. And it's something I would pull for, again, as I said, in the really, really hot, muggy days. But also, I always mention something like this is a really great uplifting pick-me-up for down, like really gloomy days, because it's got like sunshine built into this fragrance. It's very sunny. There are some solar qualities about this. So let's pause the video, come back in a couple of hours, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the dry down here on my hands. It's gotten much soapier, but for sure, it's also very musky here. Great smell. All right, what's going on with Taormina Orange after 2 hours of wear? So I have to say, there were times that I started smelling my hands to see what the fragrance was smelling like. It started reminding me a little bit of Bergamote 22 from the house of Le Labo. And Bergamote 22 is one of my favorite fragrances from Le Labo. It's a light wearing citrus, but super, super awesome. It's a nice combo of bergamot with citrus floral notes. This doesn't have any bergamot featured in it, but I got a reminder of Bergamote 22. It does have the orange blossom or orange flower featured in it. So I think this is what's giving me that vibe, with the fact that it has the green mandarin, the blood orange, and the lime together with all those citruses plus the citrus floral notes. It did remind me of that. But it goes through some different phases that I quite like. The initial blast is super, super awesome. There are some times that I didn't care for the smell as much, but all throughout the time also reminding me more of soapiness. There's a major soapy component about this, which I quite like. And I think the addition of the Oakmoss and the Patchouli is also taking it into that kind of a direction. Because sometimes to me, Oakmoss and Patchouli in fragrances do tend to remind me a bit of soapiness, because I feel like that's something that I've noticed a lot in the past, just in general, with without even featuring the citrus floral notes. But in general, this has that kind of an effect, a soapiness that I quite like. Now, as I was saying, some portions of it, some phases of it were a bit boring, but I'm enjoying this quite a bit, and really liking the way it smells. It reminds me a lot of other citrus floral style fragrances or citrus aromatic style fragrances. I couldn't think of any others besides Bergamote 22, but instantly when I smelled it one time, I was like, whoa, that's giving me major Bergamote 22 vibes, and it was because of all the citruses or the bergamot in Bergamote 22 with the floral notes. So I should say this is a quality offering. I really love the smell. I think it could be quite popular, but I don't think we're breaking any new ground with this. I've smelled many amounts of fragrances. It's reminding me of a lot. The only one that came to mind specifically is the Bergamote 22, but there are other fragrances that smell like this. It's done in a very quality way. And as I was saying also earlier, I do enjoy Anne Flipo's work quite a bit. Although she hasn't done anything like this before, at least I haven't sampled it. But two of my favorite fragrances of hers happen to be Synthetic Nature from Frederic Malle, including Rain de Maqueta from Rain de Saba, or it's Rain Maqueta by Rain de Saba. And also Tempfluo, I think she did Tempfluo for Nishane. I enjoy it. She does do some great work, and I enjoy and appreciate a lot of her fragrances. There are some duds out there. I think this is in the enjoyable category. It's just overly expensive, and also it's been done before. Just now we have something that I've smelled before from the house of Tom Ford. So this will be, I think it'll be a popular fragrance. I think once it's either discounted or there's some deals to be had while you're buying this. And so I think it'll be pretty successful, but I think Tom Ford's Neroli Portofino is probably the most successful citrus for the house. The other thing is it's gotten quite close to my skin around 2 hours later. It's still a bit soapy. I like that about it. Everything is nicely blended. We're in the stage of earthiness from the patchouli and the moss, but I'm still smelling the soapiness up top. It's nicely blended, as I said, with the base notes now, and I'm enjoying it. So I think this is a solid offering. Just too expensive, and I've smelled it before, but once you get past those two things, I think it's a really great smelling fragrance. The fact that it reminds me of Bergamote 22, and Bergamote 22 happens to be one of my favorites from Le Labo, is a positive, but then again, not identical. Also, then again, do we need another fragrance that reminds us of Bergamote 22? It's not identical, but it did remind me of it, as I said. So check it out. Get your nose on it. I do enjoy it. I think it'll be popular. It'll be a great freshie from the house of Tom Ford. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Are you planning on checking out Taormina Orange from Tom Ford? Let us know. Add a comment below. If you've already bought a bottle, do let us know as well. And if you're going to skip this one, let us know so we can find out. But thanks so much for watching. As I said, please like this video and share it, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.